welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. It is a busy day. Lots of you people are home today, I'm guessing. It's President's Day, which means no school for most, no banks, no businesses, that type of thing. So it's kind of a nice long weekend. We also just went through Valentine's Day, which was yesterday, which was kind of the coldest day of the year almost, but we're blessed with -7. We're actually up to -7 degrees today. I am joined
It feels
here.
warm, doesn't
it? Does. You know,
I'm not even exaggerating. I mean,
it's 7 above right now. We were just cued in our ear that it's 7 above, so that's 14 degrees warmer than when I left home. But I'm joined today by Renee and Patty, and of course from sunny Florida, we have Andrea. All right, we always love it when she comes in. She kind of teases us a little bit about the weather, but we're going to get right to business today. You know, there was one of the things that came up was House Bill 1386. This is something that came up just briefly this morning. We kind of got a clue about it. Rick Becker, who also has a show on Beck, No Apologies with Rick. Anyway, it has to do with the governor declaring like an emergency, so he can go ahead and close businesses down, and it can be his sole decision. They voted on it, and it came out of committee at a 9-5 fail. So it was a do not pass 9-5, but then Rick Becker took it to the floor and pretty much explained what would happen and how this would happen, and it passed 54-39. Well, this was a pretty big surprise to the governor because he and his people right now are trying to, and maybe it's happened already, we don't know because we're recording, but his people are trying to convince them to do it otherwise. He's trying to bring it back to the floor. And I guess that's a lot of power to give one person who can decide, yes, you're going to stay open, no, you're not going to stay open. And I think, you know, just everyone's rights are being kind of trampled on.
Well, I was so happy. Finally, good news. It's always like, oh, yay, starting Monday with that kind of news. And I was just happy. I wanted to say to everybody who voted for that, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I was thinking this morning when I heard it, like, the first thing I thought was, we should like have a potluck and like bring food to them, because that's always what I think is like celebrate with food.
Sure. Yeah. But I tell you what, that wasn't really on our agenda today, so we're going to slide right back into what we had planned. That was just such great news. We wanted to share it. We wanted to talk a little bit about Valentine's Day. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and a lot of people don't know the history of Valentine's Day. You know, it's been going on for centuries. They've been celebrating it. And basically, it came to be about the 3rd century, and there was 2 or 3 Valentines. Their name was Valentine or Valentinus, so we're still not clear on that. So there's a lot of information that's not real clear, but we do know that the Emperor Claudius, he had declared that single men made better soldiers, so he prohibited single men from getting married. Well, this didn't set right with many of the people, and so there was a priest that defied the emperor, and he went ahead and he was performing marriages. And so they say that 20 minutes, he was going to be martyred, but 20 minutes before his death, he had written a note to his young lady friend. And it was like 20 minutes before his death, and it said, "From your Valentine." So that's kind of how it started. But do you guys have any traditions for Valentine's?
My tradition is to, and I do this several times, not just Valentine's, is to read or watch the movie Jane Eyre. And if anybody has never read the book or watched the movie, there's like 5 versions of it. I've watched one version about 28 times, just to let you know how important it is. You have to see it. It's from like 1847. It's a novel, a classic. It's a classic. So if you haven't seen it or read the book, you must.
Okay.
Yes.
I have it on my list thanks to you. Yeah. I
Yes.
do need to do
If you
that.
like romance, that is like the best.
You know, and
I will
a
do
lot
it.
of Valentine's, it's really turned into, it's been commercialized pretty heavily. In fact, I looked up some facts. Last year, they spent $17.6 billion on Valentine's gifts and cards and candy and jewelry, and they projected $18.6 billion this year. And so while some people do celebrate Valentine's Day, some people celebrate, it's called SAD, and they call it Single Awareness Day. So it's where people buy chocolates for themselves and they want to remain single, and it's like they're celebrating their singlehood.
You know, when I was a kid, because I'm old enough, it used to be called Saint Valentine's Day. The cards, everything was called Saint Valentine's Day, but then the church took Saint Valentine off their official, one of their registers, and it just kind of slipped into Valentine's Day, and the saint part slipped away. But I think everybody remembers going to school and you'd make a little Valentine's Day box and everybody would have a card for everybody in the class. And you just loved going home and looking at your cards, and people would give you a heart-shaped sucker and some little candies. But I think it's gotten more elaborate these days in this day's generation,
It has. I wanted to quick hop over to Florida. Do you have a thought on Valentine's Day? Because I do want to share a screenshot, but what do you have for us?
I have a friend who hosted a Galentine's Day event this year. So she, instead of going out on a date with a beau that didn't exist, she had a bunch of friends and got together with them, and they had a good time. So
that sounds fantastic, and I think a lot of people are doing that. You know, relationships years ago, they'd start when they get married when they're 20, and a lot of people are waiting till their mid-30s at that point. But I just wanted to show a little bit because COVID has really put a different twist on Valentine's Day. And I can't help but think of all of the people that were left alone this Valentine's Day. But I want to show you this screenshot. This was a gal. She got a message from her dad, and it says, "Natalie, I have kept a voicemail for you for over 2 years. All you did was to call me to tell me you loved me. I usually listen to it about 20 times a week. This morning, while listening to it, I received a phone call and accidentally deleted your voicemail. I'm heartbroken and I want it back on my phone. Please call me and leave me another. I just wanted to say I love you message." And so this is a gal. I mean, she had no idea that her dad was listening to that message. He had saved it and was listening to it for over 20 times per week. And then she, of course, did call him back and left that message. But I can't help but think of all of the people that have been left alone this last year. I'm sorry, it's just it's been a long, hard year. They've missed Easter, Christmas, 4th of July. They've missed everything because they're in a nursing home or they're in a long-term care facility. And we're working on getting that switched, but it's too late for many. I just can't help but if we could all just call our parents, grandparents, or whatever, our loved ones, go ahead and leave that message. It's just the smallest thing means so much to them.
I think what we've witnessed here is a crime against humanity. What we've done to the elderly is criminal, and people should go to jail for what has happened to the elderly. And watching what they've done, I know I will never put my mother in a nursing home, just because of the fear of this possibly happening to her. It just won't happen. I will never, never allow that to happen to my mother.
One thing we can all do is that instead of hanging up when somebody doesn't answer, leave a message.
Oh gosh, that's a great idea.
I have some messages. I have a friend who died a little over a year ago, and I have a message that I just like to hear her voice once in a while. I did the same with my father-in-law. I kept his message on my phone, and you know, instead of just hanging up, just say, "Hey, I love you, Dad," or Mom, or whoever.
That's a
great idea.
Just even if it's a friend.
We just need to treat every day like Valentine's Day. We don't have to have a national holiday to make it a great day. But I do want to mention that Senator Kristen Roars has been working very hard on getting a bill to protect our elderly, and she has a big announcement coming up, and we hope to have her on the show this week. So with that, we'll be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Heroes and Icons is now Cozy TV. Don't worry, you'll still get your favorite Beck News programming without changing the channel. Real people, real news, Beck News.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. So moving right along from Valentine's Day, let's move up to President's Day. So a lot of kids are excited they don't have school today. One of my kids was sick last week, so he was off Thursday and Friday anyway, not COVID related. But so I did a little research on this. And first of all, it started out in 1885 to recognize George Washington's birthday, our first president. So that's the reason it all came to be. It began in the 1800s following the death of him in 1799. His birthday was February 22nd, and it just basically became a day of remembrance for him and gave him the honor. But and then it also became a federal holiday in the late 1800s. But it was in 1971 that there became a what did they call it? A Uniform Monday Holiday Act. So what they did is they wanted to push all these federal holidays onto a Monday to give people a longer weekend so that there's less absenteeism at work and there's more time for shopping. And so that's kind of why these holidays have been moved to a Monday. Now, I went to school at Minot State, and a lot of people are from Canada up there, and they have they call it a banker's holiday. They have a bank holiday once a month, and so we don't have that. That is something that would be fantastic, but we don't have that.
What the heck?
So anyway, I guess I'd asked all the gals to just name something, either your favorite president or something about a president that you'd like to talk about.
Well, I think Thomas Jefferson is my favorite, and he has so many amazing things he said. Of course, he was the third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence, and I didn't know that he had said some of the things for the show. There was new quotes that I had never heard before, but of course, we all know, these famous words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And, I loved what he said here about, this was, timely, that he talked about in 1786, he had said this: What a stupendous, what an incomprehensible machine is man, who can endure toil, famine, stripes, imprisonment, and death itself in vindication of his own liberty, and the next moment incite on his fellow men a bondage, 1 hour of which is fraught with more misery than ages of that which he rose in rebellion to oppose. Isn't that what we're seeing now? It's like, whoa, that's what's happening back then.
History comes full circle.
Yeah, yep.
Well, my favorite is Abraham Lincoln. How could everybody not love him? And some of the things I loved about him is he was born in a log cabin in Indiana, self-educated, and he became a lawyer. We don't even think it's possible these days. We can't even read what a lawyer wrote. What's more, get a law degree on our own. And he became symbolic of the anti-slavery movement when the North, and when he was elected, it really was seen as an anti-slavery election against the pro-slavery South. Then there was the Civil War, and when the war ended, he was intent on unifying. Talk about the separation there. There was an actual war, a civil war, and his goal was to unify. And I think that is something we really need for real, not just saying it and then having, impeachment hearings. Like really, he was a symbol of unity, and we need it.
Great.
I think this was always a challenging party question. Who is your favorite president? And it was a harder one to answer before the greatest president of all time, and that's Donald Trump.
Yay!
He secured the southern border. He improved the economy vastly. He negotiated to a position of strength nationally or globally. I'm so proud to have supported him. I hope he runs again.
Well, I guess the doors are definitely open. Something that I had found, well, I guess I wanted to bring up, not necessarily my favorite president, but the first president that I remember as a child, my sister was in college, and she came back, and she had been to this big rally, I guess you'd call it. Anyway, it was President Nixon and McGovern. It was their runoff. And so she brought, and I tried to find it. So I have all of these Nixon Now memorabilia that my sister had saved for me. So that was the first time that I ever really thought about a president. But I think Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump would probably be my two favorites. So, but kind of funny thing, I found this book, and I bought it in Washington, D.C. It's Crazy Stuff President Said, and it said the most surprising, shocking, and stupid statements from George Washington to Barack Obama. So Trump's not in here yet. That would be the volume would be a lot thicker.
I think so. I'm sorry to say.
To be fair. But anyway, we have a few of these quotes. I just wanted to read them. We put them in chronological order. Okay, this is from Grover Cleveland. The admitted right of a government to prevent the influx of elements hostile to its internal peace and security may not be questioned. Now these are quotes on immigration. And so, I mean, pretty prophetic when you think about things like that. But let's look at the next one. We had several. This was on immigration as well. Every immigrant who comes here should be required within 5 years to learn English or to leave the country. And that was President Teddy Roosevelt. And then this was on immigration as well. There is no room in this country for hyphenated Americanism. The one absolutely certain way of bringing this nation to ruin, of preventing all possibility of its continuing to be a nation at all, would be to permit to become a tangle of squabbling nationalities. And basically what he was saying is everyone says, you know, I'm a German American, I'm a Irish American, I'm an African American. They're just bringing that up. It's like either you're an American or you're not. Now here's one from Woodrow Wilson. Some Americans need hyphens in their names because only part of them has come over. But when the whole man has come over, heart and thought and all, the hyphen drops of its own weight out of this name. And so that was kind of the same as the last president, or the president before. And then we had one more, and this was on campaigning. This was John F. Kennedy. When we got into office, the thing that surprised me most was to find out that things were just as bad as we had been saying that they were. So that he was even surprised that they were that bad. And last but not least, Lyndon B. Johnson had talked about the CIA. The CIA is made up of boys whose family sent them to Princeton but wouldn't let them into the family brokerage business.
Oh, is that ever funny?
Isn't that funny? And it kind of speaks volumes
the default.
to today, how
Wow.
the CIA has been, there's been a lot of corruption. But just kind of, you know, different quotes, different presidents.
So,
we have
but they were picking them because they were crazy or because they were good?
They're surprising, shocking, or stupid. So there was a whole bunch of them. I just landed on the page about immigration because that's kind of a hot topic right now. But there's everything from public speaking, the press, power, popularity, patriotism. I mean, the book is really fun. So hopefully we can see it opened up on immigration. But humankind, they talk about golf. My right eye is like a horse's. I can see straight out with it, but not sideways. As a result, I cannot take a full swing because my nose gets in the way and cuts off my view of the ball. And that was Woodrow Wilson. So they're just kind of cute, funny, or prophetic statements, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to be right back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is seeking qualified candidates for plant technicians in our Wheatland, North Dakota location. Beck Communications is an equal opportunity employer. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Beautiful day to get out on the course, isn't it, Corey?
Without a doubt, Brian. And Scotty here was thinking the exact same thing.
There's a lot on the line for him today. He told his friends he's a scratch golfer, but the numbers today suggest otherwise. Ooh, swing and a miss.
Looks like he's excited to find that Titleist. Unfortunately, he was playing with Mojos.
Ooh, and a major infraction just occurred. Can we get another look at that?
As from my angle, it looks like he's got about a 10, 12-foot putt, slightly.
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We're going to quickly dive into impeachment hearings. So Trump is pretty excited that he's been, we are all, or not all of us, most of us are excited that the Senate, he was not impeached by the Senate. Thank goodness. I mean, and honestly, it doesn't matter what party you belong to, you got to follow the Constitution. And so the whole thing was just a mess. But I listened to Michael van der Veen's speech. I mean, it was on pretty much all day on Friday, listened to quite a bit of it. But I just wanted to have you look at this clip.
The House impeachment article slanderously alleges that the president intended for the crowd at the ellipse to, quote, interfere with the joint session's solemn constitutional duty to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. This is manifestly disproven by the plain text of the remarks. The president devoted nearly his entire speech to an extended discussion of how legislators should vote on the question at hand. Instead of expressing a desire that the joint session be prevented from conducting its business, the entire premise of his remarks was that the democratic process would and should play out according to the letter of the law, including both the Constitution and the Electoral Count Act. In short, this unprecedented effort is not about Democrats opposing political violence. It is about Democrats trying to disqualify their political opposition. It is constitutional cancel culture. History will record this shameful effort as a deliberate attempt by the Democrat Party to smear, censor, and cancel not just President Trump, but the 75 million Americans who voted for him.
So basically, the whole premise of the impeachment is that he was guilty of this insurrection, that he created this. And I think we can all say that, you know, he was campaigning for, well, a year before he was elected, and then throughout his entire 4 years, so 5 years total, and there were never any damage or insurrection, and at this point he wasn't claiming insurrection to go ahead and trash the Capitol. There were some people that had this planned out for weeks, that they had planned on doing this. And so the whole premise, and I can't believe that 7 Republicans actually had voted with the Democrats on that either. It was just, I found it very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm no constitutional attorney, and I could think of things that I might think that he could be impeached for, but
insurrection wasn't
yeah,
one of them.
You know, I listened to Chris Anhall, who is she is a Trump supporter, but I feel like she's been pretty fair and balanced, you know, on all the issues, and so I do follow her quite a bit, and her opinion on it was that there was nothing constitutional about the Senate trial, and she was very happy with it. So.
Well, and I think part of it too was they just wanted to make sure that he doesn't run for president again. And I don't know that he would, but you know, because I think there's other people that could do as good a job with, you know, some tutelage, with some good direction.
Well, I'm hoping, you know, you hope that something good can come out of this. I'm hoping that it was so bad that people will be like, no, this was ridiculous. And that maybe a pendulum will start to swing in the other direction, because they knew before it even started that there was no way. They didn't have enough votes. They knew that. They knew the Senate wasn't going to vote to impeach him, but they went ahead anyways, as if you don't. Do you guys have anything better to do? Is there something?
Think of the taxpayer money, that money
That was
and
my
time
other point,
that went
yeah.
into that, where they could be taking care of other issues. They're
Yes.
spent on something that they knew wasn't going to.
Yeah. Like
happen.
It didn't matter, money didn't matter, time didn't matter. There was nothing more important to do.
And that's taxpayer money.
Yes.
That's your money.
Yeah.
That's our money. Andrea, do you have a thought on this?
Sure. I really do look forward to all of the fact checking that now will happen on Facebook whenever anybody says Trump caused an insurrection. Actually false, because the Constitution declared the Congress declared that you were wrong.
Awesome. So we'll see some of that false information tags on
Sure,
some of
there
those
you go.
polls.
Missing
Okay, I know
context.
The other thing I just wanted to say is he was talking about going through the courts, going through the legislature. At no point did he even suggest anything other than that, and he did ask
Sure,
people
and-
to be peaceful.
Right, pop up some of these tweets. We had a couple tweets that that he had put out while he goes, I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. And then there was another tweet. Said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. So does that sound like he's ordering an insurrection?
Not even close.
Not even close.
Just the opposite.
Just the opposite. I
Yes.
know. And I guess, like you said, it'll be interesting to see how things pop up on social media, if certain posts are going to be banned, etc. Very, very interesting times that we live in.
I'm hoping they've gone too far and that there'll be a backlash as a result.
Right. And, you know,
I hope so
and
too.
I hope so too. And a lot of times they're talking about Democrats, and I just want to put this out there. I don't agree that it's Democrats versus Republicans anymore. I think the Democratic Party has been hijacked by socialists. I do have family members and friends that are Democrats, love them dearly, and they didn't agree with any of that either. So until, you know, people start standing up for what's actually going on in our government, it's just going to be more of the same. I mean, any opinion on that, ladies?
Well, of course, I wish the Republicans would have stood up when Trump was in. And I felt like they were constantly always saying, oh, you know, making excuses for what he was doing. And, you know, he forced the FDA to pass a vaccine that is now, people are being guinea pigs, you know, because of it, and spent us into oblivion along with the Republicans and the Democrats. And we are in massive, massive debt now.
Well, and that's been going on for decades, and we have to somehow get a limit on the spending. A lot of people forget that that is taxpayer money. That's not government money, and they always talk about government spending, and it's like we've got to start reeling politicians in general in, not just Trump. We're not going to blame this all on Trump.
But I'm just saying, if Obama would have done what Trump did,
Obama did plenty.
Republicans would have been going crazy. But because Trump was Republican, it was like, I'm telling you, people just were like, oh, well, he's such a good president. We lowered our taxes and all this.
Well, getting back to the impeachment, though, it's all part of the cancel culture. You know, they were trying to cancel Trump and make him out to be something that he wasn't, and shut him down and make it so he could never come back again. And that's what we're seeing, that things do have to change, because we got to stop getting shut down. And we're looking around and realizing that the far left with an agenda is controlling everything and deciding what we can believe in, what we can't. So if you want to put something for the impeachment, that's going to show up on social media. If it's against, you're probably going to get deleted, or anything about the election. And this is interesting. I hope I'm not going off the subject, but you know, the CDC originally came out saying don't wear masks. But if you put out something like that now, you would be deleted or censored off of social media. And so we're being treated like we started the show talking about Burgum not having so much power, is that we need to not be treated like children. Let us make our own decisions. Stop canceling everybody.
I agree with that.
It felt like we had two wins last week, between that gal that we talked about last week from the Mandalorian, right? Gina somebody, and her getting a new job already with and getting to produce her own or direct her own show. She was so excited for that. That felt like a win. And then Trump, them being champion for impeachment twice, like coming out twice. So I don't know. It just feels good to not to be winning for a change.
Absolutely. But they're going to find a way to try to squash that, you can be sure. But we have so much more, because I do have a little bit more from the impeachment hearings, but we're going to bring that right back to you after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's the Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Rush hour traffic in North Dakota is almost unheard of, Noah.
I'm speechless. It's something you just don't see around here, especially at this hour of the day.
Brian, can you say anything from your perspective?
Guys, I can. All of this traffic is because some doofus drove off the road.
Doofus? Well, let's hope you can help him out of there. No. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right, great job.
Yeah, that went very well.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We still want to dig in a little bit deeper with the impeachment hearing. I want you to see this video, and this will rile anybody up.
I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
Republicans stand for law and order, and we stand for justice.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
My administration will always stand against violence, mayhem, and disorder.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I stand with the heroes of law enforcement.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
We will never defund our police. Together, we will ensure that America is a nation of law and order.
We were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I think you need to go back and punch him in the face. Feel like punching him.
We just want law and order. Everybody wants that. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. We want law and order. We have to have law and order.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
We believe in safe streets, secure communities, and we believe in law and order. The current Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, urged supporters to donate to a fund that bailed out violent rioters and arsonists out of jail. One of those was released and went out and committed another crime, assault. He beat the bejesus out of somebody. She said of the violent demonstrations, "Everyone beware. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. They're not going to let up, and they should not. Under the standards of the House impeachment article, each of these individuals should be retroactively censored, expelled, punished, or impeached
for inciting violence by their supporters.
So isn't that the truth? Each one of them would be impeachable at this point for talking like that, but yet they brought impeachment against President Trump, and he has preached from day one about law and order, and he did not order those people into that Capitol. And we do know that the first person that was arrested was from Antifa, and he was also the first person let out of jail.
Oh, the irony. The hypocrisy is the most aggravating thing of all. We could say, oh, they're so faint-hearted and oversensitive, but really, after there was just a sampling, what we saw right now, that was just a sampling of the violent speech. There's a lot more out there that we saw all during the riots, and I think, how can you guys say this? Of all people, how can you act like you're so upset about this when you have been whistling a whole nother tune before that time?
They were chasing down people, Trump supporters in restaurants, and Senate Republicans in restaurants, and finding them at their homes.
And cheering that on. Now,
and they weren't impeached for saying any of that.
Now, can I just say something? Because I know we've talked about this. I agree with you guys on all of this, but maybe, what goes around comes around, because all of this has been done on our side to people who have stood up to Trump. Conservatives, and we've talked about this, where horrible things, the cancel culture has happened on our side. So maybe,
Renee, give me some examples. Because I have never in my lifetime seen anything like this.
Well, we talked about this with the National Review. What's that guy's name? You know who I'm talking about? He wrote for the National Review. He was just one. I mean, we could do, if we want to bring this up, I can bring the list of names.
Okay, well, let's just stay on topic as far as this is about President Trump's impeachment. We can go back 100 years.
She was talking about the hypocrisy, and I'm just bringing that up because the hypocrisy has been on our side too. So maybe what goes around does come around.
What's just a thought. When you say our side, what do you mean?
The people who consider themselves conservatives, okay? That's our side. I consider myself a constitutional conservative. I'm not a Republican anymore, but a lot of people think the same way I do on limited government and so forth.
Right, but again, we're talking about the impeachment as to whether or not he caused an insurrection and whether or not the people on that video,
Patty was just
whether they were guilty of even more than what he did.
The lawyer actually made the same point Renee is making. So if you watch the whole, I didn't watch all of the impeachment trial, but a large portion of it. And he said that I'm not defending any of the things that any of these people said, but I will defend their right to say them, and that all of this kind of speech should be constitutionally protected. All political speech should be constitutionally protected, and you can't cherry pick, you can't pick and choose just because you don't like how this sounds, you don't like who this is attacking, or now it's hypocrisy. None of that matters. If it's political speech, it should be constitutionally protected. End of story.
Right, and I do agree, Renee. I do agree that there's been hate speech on both sides. Absolutely. But I'm saying I've never seen anything like this, like extreme hate speech, and then, oh, look what he said, that type of thing. I don't think I've ever seen that play out in politics like this.
I have. And I think sometimes when you're on the right, we get blinded to what we're doing ourselves. So just in my own life, instead of, I want to just see what I'm doing wrong and not just point at what other people are doing wrong. Am I doing the same thing? And we need to look and say, are we doing the same thing?
I think that's a victor's handicap, right? Anytime somebody's winning or they have won, they view their position as righteous. And then they can go back and they can say, this is the way it happened. This is what was said. Well, the other team doesn't really get to tell the story because they're not the ones writing the history books.
That's true.
And a lot of it too, they were talking about how during his speech, the one thing he did say, he said, let's fight for our country, let's fight. And that's what the whole premise was. And that's the whole premise of the of the video that we showed too. It's like he said, let's fight. Well, did he mean let's go and duke it out with police? No, he didn't mean that. It's no different than any high school football, basketball game. Hey, let's go fight. You know, you fight for your team. And he was, you know, the comment he made was, let's fight for America. He didn't say, let's go break into the Capitol and cause an insurrection. So for them to claim that that was an insurrection, that's where it completely went opposite.
Right, and
I remember writing those. We had to make up cheers. I cheered high school and college. Go fight, win.
Yeah, right. And that's what he was preaching. Go fight, win. And it's like, you know, it's not over. It's not, you know, things have to change in our country. It just cannot go on the way it's going, right versus left. There's got to be a come to Jesus meeting in the middle, and we've all got to get our country back on track.
Well, that was one of the travesties of the impeachment. It did the opposite of bringing our country together. It didn't unify us, and that's why, like Abraham Lincoln, after the Civil War, he was all about unity. And you know, why would you have had an impeachment except that you're going to further divide this country? It was a travesty.
It was. But you know, I guess life goes on. You know, we have to deal with what is given us now, and we just all have to fight together. And I said it right there. We have to fight together to make our country better. You know, I hate to say make it great again. I don't want to make you mad. You know, but we got to. He doesn't mean anything bad by that, like make America great again. I think it's because we were great, and we have been great, and we want to get back to being great again on both parties, and it shouldn't be so ugly.
And your point is well taken, Renee, that whether you're a victor, whether you're the winner, the loser, that there is hate speech, and that does further divide us. And I certainly have heard it on both sides, and I don't know, it's just sad.
We don't need it.
That we've become hateful.
We don't need it. We shouldn't use it.
Yeah,
that's right. So that's why we take our advice from the Sunshine State over there in Florida.
My coffee shop down the road is having a Not My President Day event today. So
oh my goodness, wow, that's pretty cool. Did you go over there?
No. I had too much on my to-do list on my day off.
See, and we would be haters if a coffee shop said that about Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, not my president. And it's like, oh, whatever. Anyway, we have a lot of happier things to talk about when we come back after these messages on Ladies of Another View on Back.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather, like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies Have Another View on Beck. We're going to lighten things up now. We like to use the fifth segment as the lighter side because we do get into some heavy stuff sometimes, and it's we all leave here as friends. We don't always agree on everything, but we just need to kind of practice kindness in the world in general. But I want you to take a look at this video.
Snowball fight. Snowball fight. Is that fun? Snowball fight.
Wouldn't it be great if everyone saw the world through the eyes of a child? I mean, just something so simple. It's baby's first snowball fight. How innocent and precious is that? And you just can't help but hear his infectious laugh.
I love it. I just babysat my 3 grandchildren on Saturday, and you come away, you feel like you've been in therapy, because they're so happy and they don't have all these issues.
Right.
It's like a merry heart does good for, a merry heart doeth good like a medicine,
Oh, absolutely. And Mark and I babysat grandchildren yesterday, and every time we're around them, we have so much fun and we're energized. We have energy that we didn't have before that. And I was thinking, years ago, I used to wait tables for 6 years through high school and college, and I realized that even if you were in a bad mood because you had to smile and talk nicely, or if you watch, like in that situation, watching a video, we just were all laughing. So even if you're in a bad mood, you can't help yourself. That if we can do those things, whether it's smiling or go watching a video of a baby laughing, all of a sudden your mood is turned up and you're happier. That we can actively do that.
That's good.
Of the social media I have quit, I do miss TikTok. It was just so many cute little videos like that. I just think they're adorable and it's fun. But I wasted way too much time scrolling. And finally my husband's like, stop. Nope. Do something else with your time. So that one got kicked to the curb, unfortunately.
Right. But it's just so, this weekend we watched Social Dilemma. And I find it really interesting that all of the inventors of the different pages and social platforms, they all withhold social media from their children, if you can believe that. These are the people that invented it. Don't allow their kids on it. And to me, that speaks volumes.
I agree.
And so we need to get outside and do things with our kids and play in the snow. I mean, it's 7 degrees. Get out there, people.
Wow, yeah.
It's a heat wave right now in North Dakota. But we got to get out there with our kids and get back to what we know is normal, because they think social media is normal. That's what that is the new norm for these kids. They have no idea the things that we can do outside and play and whatnot.
And when we were raising our children, social media wasn't that big of a deal. And so we weren't locked into it either. I don't know at what point I was on Facebook, but really I got together with friends and kids and we went to playgrounds, but we back then it was don't watch videos or don't watch TV too much. That was our media that we wanted to make sure we didn't spend too much time with. But now it's gotten even worse. But yeah, we just spent time with our families, and we can go back to our own childhood. Can you imagine if your parents were on Facebook all the time?
Oh,
I can't imagine.
I feel bad for children, and I think these gadgets are going to be the death of us, not only for our children, but us.
Well, they're saying, my chiropractor has said that, you know, nowadays there's the nursing homes and care facilities. They're saying that fast forward in another 20, 30 years, there's going to be a lot of care facilities for people that are blind, that have vision trouble because of all of the rays coming into our eyes. And so that is something to think about.
Oh, horrible. I got rid of my TV I think it was about 7 years ago. And I went off of social media for almost a year. And just to kind of do an experiment myself. And I'm telling you, it was the best thing ever. And whenever I get banned on Facebook, I'm happy about it. I'm like, wonderful. Thank God I finally got banned again. You know, it gives me a break from social media.
There you go.
I do have to control myself. Those videos on the right, you know, and we're looking for lighter side stuff. So for us, we have to find little uplifting things, but we do have to be careful that we're not just losing too much time to these one video after another. They really do make it so you want to just look at one more,
Right.
and then one more.
And that's what the social media, or the Social Dilemma movie had talked about. It's like they want to keep you engaged. Andrea, we always run out of time. We want to hear what your final thoughts are.
Well, disconnect, and instead of you've been scrolling for a little while, skip that last video, make a phone call, and maybe leave that voice message saying I love you.
Oh,
I
that's
love that.
absolutely 100%. Yeah, you know, there's just so much. The topic is really deep. I mean, we can go on, and maybe we should do a show about the social dilemma, because I think there's a lot of information that people need to hear about that. But let's just go forward and try to have, you know, just bring happiness back into America.
Yeah, disconnect with social media and connect with people.
Yes.
I like that.
Great idea.
Yeah.
So
let's all go off grid.
there you go.
Yes, there we go.
But so join us next time on Ladies of Another View on Beck, when we have other issues that we're going to talk about, be it legislatively, in the world, in our country, in our neighborhood. Thank you for joining us on Ladies of Another View on Beck.